So this is what it looks like with one of the, I'm pretty sure one of the headlights is starting to go out, and the bulb on the right is super dim. So I'm not a fan of it, but I've had these bulbs for about 4 years now. So I will be ordering a new pair too. These originally were 55 watt LED bulbs, and this is with the yellow fog lights. So stay tuned for the other video. So here on the wall, you can see that there is only the right low beam working. These are the DRLs, which are going to be the high beams on half power. Again, that's just the one right bulb, my left one that went out. And then this is with the fog lights. I ordered 2 LED bulbs. These are both H8, H9, H11. They should all fit. Let me show you the chart here. So those should all fit. I'll show you the bulb right now. What's very interesting is these are 12,000 lumens per set, and these are 10,000 lumens per set. When I looked up the wattage, these are 52 watts and these are 30 watts. So I don't know why there's such a big gap, but I'm assuming these should have been 50 watts, but on the website it shows 30. That said, let's open them. Interestingly enough, the brighter bulbs are smaller, so this compact housing seems to have a little fan built in. Again, this isn't really a bulb review, it's more of a replacement guide, but I just want to show you these if you guys are in the market for some of them. Both of these were ordered on Amazon for about $30 to $35. And you can see these are a little bulkier, and then they have a cable. These do not have a cable, so it will be interesting to see. And for this Accord model, you will notice that this plug, at first I tried to put my high beam on for my bulb that went out, but for the high beam, these two prongs are wider, so unfortunately that does not work. It would have been cool if Honda gave the same design, so if you were in a situation where you needed a low beam, you could just swap those out very quickly. But again, these are more narrow and the high beam bulb is wider. Okay, next I'm going to show you guys how to uninstall the old pair and install the new bulbs. So here is our left headlight, our driver headlight. And really quick, if you guys don't know where the bulbs are, you can see them as soon as you open the hood. Here is your high beam bulb, and then here is your low beam. So the low beam, you could just reach in, twist counterclockwise, and pull out. If you guys have the original bulbs, the yellow ones, the halogens, be careful not to touch the bulb. This one's already messed up. You can notice the diode is burnt, so that's what it should look like. The diode is burnt on this end, so this one's no good. These are about 4 years old, and I got them from DDM Tuning. They're good bulbs while they lasted, but you know, they've ran their course now. And again, you can see the socket is more narrow, and here is the connector. So this one had a what's it called, a little fuse box that would convert the power. So these were a lot older, and I taped them here, but you're going to notice this newer style does not have that. So I'm going to plug this in. It's going to be a little more difficult, but I'm going to plug this in and then put it into the socket. So because this newer style doesn't have a tail end to connect like this one has a tail to extend it. It was a little harder to get it in there, but I put my right hand in through here, and with my left hand I plugged it into the power source there. So another way to assure that it's working is you go to the car and then you just check your power. So you turn them on and you see your light bulb is working there. So go ahead and do that before you put it into the socket and everything, so you have a little more space to work with and you don't have to work backwards. Next, we're gonna do the passenger side. So on the passenger side, you're gonna see on the passenger side, you see here, this is your low beam, and then your high beam is in here. The low beam is easy to access as well. For this high beam, if those of you that know where your coolant reservoir is right here, this plastic tub, this just lifts up. You could literally lift this up and move it out of the way. Prefer to do this when your car is cool because this has some hot fluid in it, but you could just move it and keep it level because it could spill. But that's for your high beam. Today we're working on the low beam. And as you notice, this one has tape because I had to tape that, was it that resistor box converter? So I'm gonna cut this. This is about 4 years old. And this bulb still works, but I'm gonna replace them because I noticed it got much more dim once I had the other one go out on me. So these new ones should not require any tape, and I used electrical tape here, PVC tape, and this stuff stuck on here for 4 years. So again, pretty good tape, and it held on through all the dirt and rain and everything. So again, counterclockwise twist, pull out, and you can see there, these are 50 watts that I'm replacing, and you just pull out from this socket. Try to hold it at the base. You don't want to yank too much because you could rip a cable and you don't want to do that. Then there's a little clip. You just hold this clip down and it should release. And again, this is a more narrow socket, and this is the old style. So, and these are technically newer because these are LED bulbs, but I might save this one as a backup in case I need it for an emergency. But I will now be installing this new style, and you can see it doesn't have that resistor converter thing. It's all built in here now, so the housing is much smaller, so it's easier to work with. So I'm going to find that power cable, and I'm going to clip this in, and you're going to test. You should hear a little click, and I'm going to test to see if they turn on. Perfect. So now that they both work, you want to put it in your socket. You can see your socket there. You're going to insert it. Find the grooves, rotate it a little bit. Okay, so I just put the first bulb in on the passenger side, and you want to put it in and then turn it clockwise, and you can see this red rubber seal is what's going to keep that secure from having moisture going in and everything. And then I'm gonna do the driver's side, and then I'll show you how they look against the wall. Okay, so now that they've both been installed, let's see what they look like against the wall. Keep in mind the 12,000 lumen is on this side and the 10,000 lumen is on this side. So let's see what differences we have. Okay, so right away I notice more of a scattered light hue above here. It's not that dramatic in person, it's a little more noticeable in the video, but you can see it goes a little higher here. The light beam overall, because this has projector housing, is still kind of kept at that height, so you shouldn't have people getting blinded. I'm gonna back up a little bit so we can see how the light spreads. Okay. And I noticed this light kicks out a bit more. I understand the wall's bent here, but this light kicks out a bit more on the left, and on the right it's kind of more faint here. So they're both bright, but you can see this has much more illumination there. So I'll do a road video shortly and I will throw that into the video. Here's a look at the installed lights. These are my high beams as DRLs, so they're running at around 50% brightness. And this is roughly what the other headlight, the one only the right low beam was working, looked like. And this is installed. Huge difference. I'm very content with it. And you have to think, when you install these lights, you're getting safety in the sense that you can see better, you can see animals, potholes, any sort of issue that's coming up on the road, you can see it much better. And for those of you that are upgrading from the halogen lights that are stock in a lot of the Accords, this is a pretty much a plug and play. You just pull those out and install these. You should notice a big difference as soon as you do install them. And you're not really going to blind anyone, because watch, I'll drive up to the wall here so you can see that because these are projector housing, you can see that there's a clean line across there, so you're not going to blind anyone driving. Of course, if you put a 70 watt or something insanely bright, then that's going to eventually scatter and you will blind people, just because it's so intense and pointed forward that it'll still be overwhelming for a lot of people on oncoming. But these should be sufficient. So you can't see this in the video. Let me see if I can focus here a little more. But the right is slightly a bit more white, and then this is slightly a bit more, it's still white but a little more yellowish in comparison to this is more of an icy white in person, so you can't see that as well here. And I did notice when I stood outside, you can't really see it in the video I took, but this left bulb, which is the 12,000 lumens, so 6,000 lumens per bulb, I noticed it was a tinge brighter, not much, not enough to make a difference. So I think I'm just going to run these for now, since I have a long trip ahead of me. I'm going to be taking a little road trip, so I'm going to try to use these, and I'm going to use this 10,000 lumen pair as a backup. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, feel free to leave any comments. I will get back to you as soon as possible, and have a great night.